We're good? Oh, man. We're back. Jeff Warburton, myself, Justin Belanger. We're here in the High Button Sports studio. I love actually, I shouldn't say I love it. The grind after a tournament especially, a travel tournament is an interesting tiredness. Obviously, when you're done, what do they call it? Thanksgiving dinner, you have turkey, and then the turkey makes you tired. But there's a whole nother level of worn down after a road trip and a tournament. I'd like to compare it to a tour with musicians, but I can't, because a tour with musicians, it's stop after stop after stop after show after show. We were lucky enough just to be in one hotel, 2 rinks, and that's pretty much it. So I can't sit here and complain. I'm going to sit here and shut up. But obviously I can't sit here and shut up. It's a podcast. You got to hear me speak. But when I remember, man, this studio's filthy right now. When I was younger, not younger, I have a friend, Quake, and he's a musician, rapper, all around great guy. And he used to tell me, in order to grow a brand or in order to grow yourself, you have to travel, you got to move, you got to groove, you have to let the people across Canada, the world, whatever it is, recognize your brand, let them see your talents. And that's kind of the way I've thought over the past year, with COVID kind of taking a back seat. It's like, all right, we got to travel as much as possible so people can recognize our brand. And that's kind of what I thought about, I guess you could say, over this past week. It's like, okay, great. There's definitely some people up in New Brunswick that were going to be at the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League Cup and the Atlantic Cup Challenge that didn't know what high button sports was. As much as, at least in my inflated head, I think everyone knows what it is. But when you go there and you have to kind of pitch, okay, here's what high button sports is. Here's what we do. We're very kind, gentle people. We help, and we film, and we highlight, and we podcast, and I could go on for days. But it was nice, not humbling, but it was just nice to be able to go, okay, wow, this person doesn't know what high button sports is. Let me let them know a little bit. So it was nice to have that experience. Not that doesn't happen in Nova Scotia. I have Nova Scotia, of course. You're at the rink every now and then. Oh, what's high button? You have to, of course. But it definitely happened in New Brunswick, and it was great just to get that brand recognition out there. When I was in school, when I was younger, and I took, a marketing class, business class, the business ethics class, all these classes wrapped around business. And I didn't really pay too much attention to what was being said, but there was definitely a lot of key words within these classes, like networking.
Oh, yeah.
There was definitely a lot of key words like
That's the top of the pyramid.
Business ethics. There was definitely a lot of key words like brand recognition. There was definitely a lot of key words like, that's pretty much all I got there. But you don't really know, like, how do I explain this? In the movie, what's the movie with Brad Cooper where he takes that pill and he just knows everything? Don't take that and go the wrong way with this story. But what's that movie called?
Wish I could help, man. Not much
21
guy. Maybe
Limitless.
Oh, yeah.
So
is that Bradley Cooper?
Isn't it?
Maybe,
yeah,
probably.
The guy who was in like American Sniper, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
So remember, do you remember Limitless, the movie?
I don't think I watched that one.
So there's a scene where he's like not on his pill yet, and he comes up the stairs, but he just took it, so it's like kind of kicking in, and then he sees this woman's textbook from her school, and he read it like 5 years ago, but he sees the side of it, and he sees a bunch of keywords on the side of the book, and he remembers a bunch of notes from like reading it years and years and years ago, because this one pill, I don't know, reminded him of a bunch of stuff. He's limitless. He's the smartest guy going. And after going to this tournament, not that I took a magical pill and everything started happening for me, but I remember just from those days in school of those key words. I didn't really know what they meant. I didn't really know what the hell they were talking about. Networking. I got my buddies. I'm good to go. I don't need network. What are you talking about? But while I was there and I was understanding that certain people weren't aware of the High Button Sports brand, all those words started to kick into my head and go, okay, you need to apply those words to all 4 rinks, because or I guess 5 rinks if you include the the Uniplex that you were in. But as we were in the Superior Sports 4-pad, there was 4 rinks, and you're moving and grooving. One rink you have PEI, one rink you have Nova Scotia, one rink you have New Brunswick, one rink you have Newfoundland. And it was definitely an opportunity I saw for myself, dudes as well, to be able to move around, network, to be able to give a little bit of brand awareness, put our flag up somewhere. Oh, what's that flag? High Button Sports. So going back to school, I always used to go, it wasn't the most useful thing, but this past weekend, I think about school and some of the things that those teachers said in order to move a brand or a business or a little project ahead. They were right, and I'll admit that back then when I thought it was stupid, ridiculous, they were completely right, and I just thought about that oddly enough for this past weekend. But marketing, brand awareness, networking, letting people know who you are, letting people know about your business, and also asking about other people and what they're doing. How many ref scouts did I meet? How many Q scouts did I meet? How many scouts from Ontario prep schools did I meet? It's a Montreal Canadiens player agent. He had like a couple players within the Montreal Canadian system come up to me and lives in Montreal. He knew of the brand, knew of the podcast, and obviously, sorry, I got to take a sip of my coffee.
Just to quickly let everyone know, we were in, just to set the stage, we were in Moncton, the Atlantic Challenge Cup. You probably saw the coverage there on the social medias, but that's what he's talking about.
I didn't say that yet?
I don't think so. I think you just kind of jumped into it. And then we also did the QMJHL Cup. So it was the one tournament that was sponsored by the Q with all the top U16 players, and they put together all-star teams for each provinces, and then Justin and dudes at the 4-pad did all the tournaments below that. So
Camera 2 if you're talking.
Well, yeah, true. What was it? The girls, like all the girls leagues, the
under
U15,
14, under 16, under 18.
So that's kind of just to set the stage as he continues here.
My apologies. I thought I mentioned it.
Well, maybe you did, but just to, you got to give them the full background of what the weekend was and how come you had these opportunities.
Should we restart it?
No, just keep going.
Well, now I'm thinking it's not going to make sense.
No, well, it probably will.
Okay. What was I talking about?
You were talking about introducing yourself to the people in Hockey New Brunswick and that whole spiel and putting up the flags and using the keywords.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think I've made my point, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else I can really talk about. We did it.
We can restart if you want.
Should we?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, no, they get it.
All right. Well, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was a big tournament in Moncton. It was a big opportunity, and it was through Hockey New Brunswick, not Hockey Nova Scotia. So obviously the relationship we have is mostly with Hockey Nova Scotia, so it was big. And a lot of people who didn't know about us definitely know about us from around the Atlantic provinces. It was a perfect tournament for us to do for that reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Atlantic provinces are our bread and butter. And, it was an opportunity to get out of Nova Scotia and show the other ones what we got.
And I've always wondered this about whether or not it's right or wrong. I guess I'd have to form my own opinion. Actually, I do think I have my own opinion on it. But growing a brand from local to... Would national be across Canada, or would that be across the world?
That's Canada, national.
So what's like...
International.
International would be across the world. So like to grow a company national... Sometimes some people view that as like selfish or egotistic. Oh, why do you want to be so big? What's going on there? What's wrong with just Novus? I've always thought about that, how the perception of the company will come across, but who cares? Like I'd love for this brand to be recognized across the country based on what we do. It's some of the things that we were doing on Twitter and updating the general public that weren't actually at the rinks with highlights and clips. Just the messages we were getting, just people so thankful. It's the best feeling. At the end of the day, yeah, of course, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't need money. I need money to put food, and you need money. We need to make money. But at the end of the day, to make people feel like they're in a rink when they're at home and they didn't have to travel X amount of miles to watch their grandchild play, that's the best, it's a great feeling. And if you can get paid for it at the same time, and then if you can come home a couple days later and talk about it on a podcast, people recognize that. I don't know. That to me, I think that's a great recipe. I think that's a great recipe.
Yeah, it's kind of High Button's in an interesting spot. We talked about it before. You know, you built your roots down here in Halifax, and we focus a lot about the Atlantic provinces. And you know, you're gonna retweet everything that McKinnon does, and Crosby and Marchand, and all, you know,
That's a given.
all the other guys, all the Moosehead guys who come through here. There's plenty of content to cover in Atlantic Canada. But you know, it's that fine line of when do you try to do other things and expand out. We haven't really had a road trip past Eastern Canada yet. Well, you and Dudes
we went to Boston
many years ago, but you know, since you ramped this thing up and since streaming became a thing and all that, we haven't been outside of Atlantic Canada. So.
But here's the thing: I didn't even know minor hockey. I thought minor hockey started. I have a meeting on Monday with like a couple minor hockey directors, and a couple of those directors are like, yeah, we might be going to the Quebec Pee Wee tournament, we'd love you to come. So it's like, it's not even, the season hasn't even started for minor hockey, and it's like trips are already being established for, you know, it's
I'm just saying,
I know what you're saying.
You know, it's kind of the fine line that you teeter in your head, right? Like, how much do I focus this is what we're built on, but also you got to expand. That's how business works.
Well, the thing that I try to expand on is, because, like, you know, it's I love the podcast, but I guess that's not true. I can do the podcast on the road in the hotel. I just love the equipment here. I hate moving shit.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't have to preach to you.
No, I've been there. It's a lot. Plus, like this past weekend, we were in the hotel for a few hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not as easy as like, oh, let's just head back to the hotel, set up real quick, and we'll be in and out. Like, it's like a whole ordeal.
A part of me wants to invest in you know those like suitcases that have like the smushy foam in it?
Oh yeah.
And you can like nice and cleanly pack things in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wants to maybe invest in one. All good on the computer?
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wants to kind of maybe invest in one of those. Anyway, that's now, whatever. Can we talk about the credit card situation at the hotel? That's kind of funny. I think the people would like to listen.
Yeah, I guess.
The muffin and...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we got there... Obviously,
don't say the name of the hotel.
No. Yeah. So the stuff was paid for. Like our hotel rooms and everything were paid for already. It was under, whoever paid for it.
Yeah.
And anyway, but you still need to have like our names on the room. So my name was on one room, yours was on the other.
So Dudes and I were a room, and Mark and Jeff were in another.
Yeah. And I had to, and obviously, like you do when you go to a hotel, you got to put your credit card down.
For two separate rooms. So I had to put my card down for my room. Jeff had to put his card down for his room.
Yeah. So I put the card down, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. You know, that's how it goes, I guess. I actually don't think I've ever done that before, because anytime I've been with hotels, it's been with someone else and they've used their card. So I haven't done it before, but I was like, whatever. You know, this is how it goes. Put it down. We go and we do like the longest day of streaming ever. Like I think it was the Saturday, and I was trying to get some food, and there's we come back, I get a nice donair, but I said, oh, I need something to go along with this, so I pick up like a muffin from the from like whatever
concession,
the concession
or the
like
lobby.
Yes,
the hotel lobby.
Yeah,
food
you know, where they got
place.
all the candy and like all overpriced stuff, whatever. So I was like, all right, I picked up this muffin. I was like, I went to pay for it at the desk. They're like, oh, like, we'll just charge it to charge it to their room. Like, what room are you in? Like, for whatever reason, I couldn't just like pay for it there. I don't know. So I was like, all right, whatever, charge it to them. This is after about a 12-hour day.
They wouldn't let you just like pay with debit, or like they wouldn't let you just tap. Like,
yeah, I don't know. There was something where I couldn't, because I definitely would have just like tapped like my credit card there, but they were like you just gotta put it to the room, like that's whatever. So I was like, okay, like it's my card, whatever. It'll be like a $4 charge or however much this overpriced muffin was.
$4.
And then I, so then I go to put my card, and they're like, oh, we don't actually have a card on file. Are you sure you're staying in that room? I was like, yeah, I've got my room key right here. It's worked all day. So they're like, oh, okay, like. And at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little pissed off, because I'd been out all day long, and I just wanted this muffin, and like it was just like right before there was like some like it was just a long day, like 12-hour day of just screaming.
Want a muffin.
And they finally like, they could tell I was like a little upset. I'm usually pretty good at keeping my cool and just like keeping a straight face, but like I was just so exhausted. And you walked in at the same time. It was because a stream back in Bedford didn't go how I wanted it to go, so I was annoyed with that. And you walked in, and as I was paying for the muffin, you walked by, and I was like, yeah, the stream like shit on itself. Like I gotta figure out how to fix it.
Oh,
for
that's
tomorrow.
when you were
So
trying to buy the muffin.
Yeah, so I was a little ticked off.
Okay, so that
is.
makes sense. That's why you were a little pissed off. Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so then I go, all right, like, and then they could tell I was pissed off, and I just like, you'd walk by, my boss had walked by, and I told him like something went wrong. She's like, all right, like, you know what, just take the muffin, like go up to the room, and just when you have a chance, come back down, and we'll like get your card on file for this room. And at that point, I'm like, all right, whatever. I go up and eat. I have a nice nap. Like I got knocked out. So I woke up and I was feeling better, and I was like, all right, trying to be a good citizen here. Like I was telling you, I was like, I might as well, like, I could just like, ignore this and I'm sure it'd be fine. But, you know, someone else paid for these rooms, and I don't want some shit to go sideways. And then, like, they're, you know what I mean?
Charge an extra $4
you know what I mean?
for
It's
the
just,
muffin.
well, just like, you know, I don't want them to be like, well, no one put, like, them to call who paid for their room, and then be like, oh, well, no one did this. And, like, we told them to come down. He didn't come down. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go down. So it's like 10:30 at night. I go down. I was like, actually, we'd come back from a game at this point, and I was like, all right, like, they told me to come down. I'll put my card down. They're like, oh, okay. Like, great. So they swipe my card. Don't think anything of it. We go through the rest of the night. We go through the next day, and then we leave. And you guys stay for the third night, but we left Sunday. And somewhere along the way, it was told to me that the room was paid for the 3 nights. And
it was under the assumption that both rooms were paid for the 3 nights.
So you guys are like, don't bother checking out, like whatever, like no big deal. So I was like, all right. So we just dipped after the game. And I get home, and like, I don't know, I just kind of knew, you know, when you know like something's gonna go sideways. I knew, and I check, and there was 2 charges on my card pending on my credit card for $177 each. So I was like, what? I was like, nah. Like, this ain't happening. So, and this was last night, and I was already had another shit day yesterday. So I was like, already pissed off. So I was like, all right, I'm calling them. And they basically said that the third night wasn't paid for. And even though we had left the room and had it totally cleared out, we had the conjoining rooms with you, and the door was open to your room.
So it made it look like we were in there.
So it made it look like, I guess, that you guys were in there, even though it was cleared out. We had only booked 2 rooms, and they knew that we were connected because we were booked under the same room. So they were like, for them not to think like, oh, they obviously dipped and they just left this door open because they've been together all weekend. They're booked under the same company.
Yeah.
We booked these rooms next to each other on purpose. But for whatever reason, they thought we were there, or they didn't, and they charged me for the extra night, which is $177. Why they charged me twice for that, I don't know. But that's $350 sitting on pending on my credit card. And so I call, and they're basically like, yeah, you stayed that third night. Or like you didn't, like, we thought you stayed that third night, so there's nothing like really we can do. And like that other $177 charge, that'll just fall off. Like, we don't know what that charge is, so that won't get charged to your card. So I was like, okay. So then I immediately call you, and Justin, you know, like the good boss he is, he covered it, and he called them and got it worked out, and I got the money sent back into the account. Well,
that's what I do.
Allegedly.
That's what I did.
That's where we're at right now. I mean, nothing's written in stone right now. I still got the pending charge got taken away, but I still have $177 charge on there that hasn't looked like it's been taken care of. So when it goes through, and if this unnamed hotel is right, then it should just fall off the card, and then the actual charge will be reimbursed with the money they put on the pending. So big old disaster, because I tried to be a good guy and, you know, cause less headaches for everyone, and it's just caused a massive one.
All right, that was crazy. I don't know why. I shouldn't have asked you to tell that. That was a lot. Now I'm well,
that's how it goes, man. These things aren't always silky smooth.
I called them yesterday, and I just basically played like the power of letting people speak first. Very powerful. Like that you speak and they're just waiting for you to respond, and you don't, and then they panic, and then you just let them speak again. It's basically what I did. I go, hey, like my colleague Jeff, he's owed 177, and like, yeah, we were just talking to him. I was like, just let them. And I didn't say anything.
Dude.
I was like, oh no, and they go, okay, let me just. They just go, okay, let me just talk to my manager. I'll call you right back. I'm like, all right. And they call me back. They go, okay, yeah, we'll just put it right back on. I literally said nothing. They go, yeah, we just talked to Jeff Warburton. I was silent for 5 seconds. It was like an awkward, and they go, hello?
Really?
They go, hello? And I just coughed.
Yeah.
And they, okay, just let me just talk to him. I'll call you right back. All right.
That's funny.
it.
I'm too nice when it comes to that stuff because I was like, well, I'm trying to figure this out, and they're like, well, we're gonna talk to our manager. I'll call you back in the morning. That's what he said on the initial. Anyway, so big old shit show. These things, they don't always go so smooth.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
That's all right. I'm
sure
in 5 days it'll all be worked out.
Speaking of not smooth, unfortunately, the Toronto Blue Jays have left the building early. The renovations have already started in the Rogers Center. I feel for those workers. I know exactly how renovations feel. In Toronto's, it's an embarrassment across all bases, across all outfields, across all at bats, across managers. It's an embarrassment. Up 8-1 in the sixth inning, seventh inning. Just it's a deep cut. It's a deep cut, and I'm not a huge. Like, I'm not. I think this is a known thing. I'm not a big team guy. Like, no, I'm not what I mean. Like team. Like, I love our high button team, but like, I'm not a let's go Titans guy, but the Jays have a special spot in my heart, or maybe it's just baseball because watching the Expos with my grandfather growing up. But the Jays do have a special spot in my heart, and just to see that happen, it's it's a tough one. It's an embarrassing, especially when Twitter's an actual thing, and you can see people's comments ripping up the Jays from America. And they just laugh at Canada. It's like, oh my God, you have every right to do that right now, and it sucks because that's an embarrassment. It's awful. And I saw Bo Bichette laugh after in the dressing room, and that got my blood boiling.
No, come on,
no,
dude. The Toronto media, they got hundreds of guys in that locker. They got hundreds of media members in there, man. My question is, are people trying to drive our best players out of the Blue Jays? Like, is that the goal?
That I have no idea about. Go if you want to drive players, though. That's unfortunate. They shouldn't be doing that.
Well, ripping on them for that smile or whatever that shit was is gonna drive them out, man. Why would some American want to stay here and deal with that?
It depends how long that laugh was after. Even if it was not even, he was in the dressing room. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I just remember losing games, and you just don't want to. Oh man. It just doesn't make sense to me how you can smile and laugh, especially what was it, 7-1 or 6-1? 6-1? 7-1 in the 7th? 8-1?
It was 8-1 in the 7th, I think. Or, yeah, something like that.
I just don't understand how you can laugh. Smile. And you're competing for a city. I was competing for, the Halifax McDonald's Major Midget Club, and I remember losing and just... You're just like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't know. I don't know.
But what about the whole dressing room thing, man? That's supposed to be your safe space. I'm sure if you had hundreds of media members in there after the game, after one of your losses, you would have slipped up, or you would have had, you know what I mean? You don't want to be bothered. You don't want to be any of that stuff. So who knows how he deals with it?
Yeah,
it's an a heater of a season, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because we go into dressing rooms with camera, so I can't be a hypocrite here. I guess I would never go into a dressing room after a loss. That's for sure. I'd never go. Imagine when Newfoundland beat New Brunswick. What do you think I'm doing? Going in New Brunswick's room and just filming?
You don't know what the future holds, man. You gotta get that content.
I don't know. That just it. I didn't like it. They just Who had a great point? Sid from Breakfast Television. Sid, you like him? I like him.
I was about to say, is that his first good point ever? Has he finally got
one? It was his point about Kawhi Leonard being a winner. And just they were up in the last game and someone tried to give him a high five. And he's like, don't give me a high five. We have to win a championship. It's not over yet. And I love that mentality. I'd like to portray myself a little bit in that mentality. If we're not celebrating, the weekend's not over, let's go. I don't know. I just hate losing more than I love winning, if that's fair. And maybe a lot of other athletes that get paid millions and billions and quadrillions of dollars don't.
Well, losing's for losers, you know what they say. So that was definitely tough. But, everyone acts different. Not everyone could be Kawhi or Justin Belanger. So I'm not going to give him too much flack. He did his part down the stretch, man. And, it was a shit ending. But...
What did Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, if you didn't know. Did you see the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills freak out after week 2 loss of Miami?
Yeah.
And Josh, they go, Josh, you have any problem with that? He goes, no, like, I love it. If you have a problem with losing and that's a reaction, I love it. People that like to lose are most likely going to be losers. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I would have rather see Bo in the dressing room smash a Gatorade jug, flip a table, and just call out everyone rather than just sitting there kind of smiling, giving, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. People could be listening to this right now going, Justin, you're an idiot. You didn't pay attention in school. What are you doing? I get that completely. I completely get that. That's just my opinion. That's why you start a podcast, so you can talk and
give your opinion.
And then you can write a tweet about it. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that.
That's all you got to say about the Jays?
What else do you want me to say? Season? I'm not a baseball expert. I just get, I get romantic about baseball. I sit there on there and I think I'm a kid again watching it with my grandfather. I sit there and I get romantic about baseball. That's all I do. And then every now and then, if I think of an opinion, I'll come on here and I'll share it on the mic. But other than that, I'm just a romantic at heart. That's it.
That's it, man.
What about you?
With the Jays, I think some of that Maple Leafs magic got rubbed off on them somewhere along the way.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Poor Toronto fans. I'm glad I just have to deal with one team from Toronto.
Oh, yeah, that's true because you're not a Leafs guy. You're the Edmonton guy.
Definitely not a Leafs
Staying
guy.
up till 1 a.m. to watch these games. Nutcase.
Yeah.
By the way, I am getting a toilet delivered and I got the headphones on. So if you hear a knock, just let me know, please.
Yeah.
Hockey season is here. Wow, what a feeling. To be able to come home on a cold winter night at like 5 o'clock and it's pitch dark out and you have nothing to do. And you have a great night of entertainment as you turn on a hockey game. Excuse me, I don't think there's a better feeling as a Canadian. Maybe a couple other better feelings. But knowing that there's a game of a National Hockey League broadcast, I think it's a great feeling just to be able to sit down, maybe crack a beer, maybe, smoke a bowl, whatever your thing is, just to be able to sit and relax and go, wow, the Canadian heritage of this beautiful game that they like to call hockey is going to be broadcasted to me for the next 2 hours on clear HD television. I don't know what's better. I really do not know what is better. And I love how you said, what did you say today? You're like, I got a game tonight, hockey or something. What did you say? You said you're playing hockey or something?
Yeah.
I also love the winter elements of playing hockey. Summer, I'm a golfer. I don't like to look at my gear, my sticks. I like to, but as I get older, I love to find different routines within each season of the year. In winter, you better believe it's hockey. I love to skate, maybe 2-3 times a week, maybe 4 if I'm pushing it, if I'm trying to feel a little ambitious. Usually most of the times not. 2 times out of the week is good. But then also playing it and then coming home and watching it, it gives me such a greater appreciation to how good these guys are. How good these guys in the NHL are. A great conversation I had with an individual, I'm not going to say his name, told me the difference between guys who are top 6 in the NHL compared to the bottom 6 and the actual difference of the individuals. It's kind of crazy to look at it from that perspective. If you look at guys top 6 in the NHL and how good they are compared to the bottom 6, it's night and day. If you're bottom 6 in the NHL, it probably comes down to a little bit of personality.
Yeah, you play a role.
You play a role. Well said.
You're not just there for skill. You're
well
playing
said.
a role.
Well said. And when you're seeing the difference between the bottom 6 and the top 6, and then you go out and you play your game, and you're doing whatever you got to do, but then you get home and you can compare yourself to that. You're just like, I'm nowhere. It's great. I love comparing myself to other things. Maybe it's not as healthy. Maybe I don't know.
You comparing yourself to NHL players?
Yeah, of course. You have to. That's just, if you're an accountant, you want to be the best accountant in the world. If you're a librarian, you want to be the best librarian in the world. You want to, whatever you do in life, you got to want to be the best.
Yeah,
when I'm out,
of course.
As much as you say, oh, Justin, you try hard, you little, whatever you got to say about me, go for it. But if you're out there playing a little game, yeah, I'm out there to get a sweat. I can't run on a treadmill. I can't get on a bike and try to, what's the tire on your belly? I can't.
Geez.
I can't get out there and try to lose that on a bike or a treadmill. I got to skate. So definitely, probably 50% of the reason why I'm out there is just to stay in shape, be a little healthy. But then there's another 50%. Yeah, you want to work on your stick handling. You want to work on your vision. You want to make a nice pass. You want to have a nice shot. What are you doing out there if you're not trying to get a little bit better in every aspect of life?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
No,
so of course, if you're whatever you're doing in life right now, I'm trying to be the best podcast in the world. I don't know if I am, but I'm trying somehow.
Top 3.
Yeah, talk to me. But you know what I mean? So it's I love that about the winter. It's just the whole the whole grind of getting through the cold, trying to stay in shape, and watching hockey, and getting this company to come alive. Not that it's not already alive, but we all know it's no secret here in the High Button Sports Studio that when hockey season's around, this company flourishes.
It's our bread and butter, man.
I said that word correctly. Flourishes.
Yeah.
Flourishes. So it's definitely in that time. Look at us right now, two geeks right now wearing hats in the studio. We are actually supposed to have the
Go Gators.
The reason why the heat's not on down here is because we're getting see this ventilation here.
Yeah.
It hasn't been cleaned in like X amount of years, so we're getting
30?
it. It's not dirty, but there's just
30.
30 years.
Yeah.
Is that what it's been?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I was like, are you talking to Sarah? Like, how do you know it's 30 years? I don't know how many years, but we're just going to get it cleaned before we turn them on. So we're just waiting for the guy to come and clean it so then we can turn the heat on.
Okay.
But it's not that bad down here now.
No.
But it gets bad. Like,
better than it was.
December,
but yeah, it does get
January.
bad, yeah. No, man, hockey takes over. Like, I'm broadcasting.
Yeah, you're busy.
I'm doing 4 or 5 games a weekend now. Plus, I'm playing twice a week. Plus, now I'm watching every Oilers game. So that's at least like 3 times a week. So what is that? 5? That's 9 to 10 hockey games I'm consuming in a 7-day period.
And look at you. You're grinning ear to ear.
No.
You know?
It's the best.
You're talking. Your teeth are as white as your shirt. You're smiling. You're just like, yeah, let's go. You're happy. Look at you.
I am, man. That's when I thrive, man. Oilers home opener tonight.
Is it?
Game. Yes.
No,
man.
my God.
Yes, bro.
Who are they playing?
Vancouver. Had my first game last night. Oilers home opener tonight. Then I have another game tomorrow night, and then Friday I'm live streaming 2 games, and then the weekend, right? Like at least
this weekend's
5 more.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend's really busy.
This weekend's busy. Yeah, we'll be all around doing our regular games along with a little tournament thrown in that I'll be taking on.
Yes, the Jordan Boyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jordan Boyd tournament. That'll be great.
Just for one team now, so it's not full coverage for any of you.
Oh, yeah.
At home, but for the Bedford team at least.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Like we're gonna be there streaming for Bedford. What's Pee Wee? U14?
I don't know, man. I grew up with the Pee Wees. I guess Bantam is U15, 16. So would it be U13 for Pee Wee?
I don't know. No one cancel us. We're just gonna say it. Pee Wee AAA. We're doing their games at the Bedford 4 pad. Mm-hmm. And but think about this. If you're a parent from the next game, let's say Bedford Pee Wee AAA comes off, and you see us, you're like, oh wow, great. They're streaming, so they must be streaming for my kid's game. And then we just take off and leave. Like that's gonna. If I was a parent, I'd be a little. I don't know.
No, it'll be good. It'll be a good opportunity to get the name out. We'll get the flags going, and I'll bet you I'll have lots of people come out to me, and it'll be nice just to because I've done tournaments there where I do every game, and a lot of parents come up then. But it'll be interesting to just plop in for the Bedford games and then dip out and see if anyone, the Tassa parents, what are they gonna say? The Halifax. We don't do any Halifax teams right now. What are they gonna say? Sackville. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. It'll be good though.
No, it'll be fun. I love as much as I hate the chaos, I love the chaos because it makes time interesting. Like when I was saying this to dudes when we were up in Moncton, there's a part of me that's like a little homesick. But then as soon as I get home, I want to be back in Moncton. Yeah. So I'm starting to become more aware of my time and how I feel within that time. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have to do the same thing for sure. You kind of wish for it to be over because you want everything to go smooth, but then it's over and you're like, oh, that was so much fun. I wish I enjoyed that more in the moment.
Yeah. Like Sarah's like, oh, come on, I want you to be home. Like, let's go cuddle. Like, I want you to be. Like, I want you to be here. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I want that too.
You would have run home at that point.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I want to go home. Like, I want to, I want it. And then as soon as I'm home, then it's like, all right, well, all right, let's get back.
20 minutes later.
Yeah, you're like, all right, well, so it's like.
But he's generous.
Yeah, so you just 20. So it's just you find these times where you're feeling like impatient, where you just want the other event in your life to happen. It's like, no, Justin, just be happy where you are. As we're doing this podcast right now, there's a part of me that's thinking about everything else I have to do after this.
Me too, man.
But let's just relax for a second. I don't have any coffee left, but just be happy right now. We're doing the podcast, we're talking, people are listening. Let's just be happy with that. Why can't we be?
Oilers are about to go on the greatest run of my fandom. What do I have to be upset about?
Are you in a hockey pool this year?
Oh yeah, in a couple.
Do you have McDavid in any of them?
No, I've got Draisaitl though.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully he puts up 50.
How many did he put up last year?
I think he might have gotten 50. I think he's done it twice in his career.
Nate's taking it home, buddy. Taking it home 2 for 2. They're lifting the banner tonight.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Did you see Did you see the ring he got?
Yeah.
With the box where you open it up and it projects the hot man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I wonder every time if he lifts the box like if he has to charge the box, like if he lifts it every time if that video plays or if it was just a one-time thing.
Well, that's what someone on Reddit was saying. Like, imagine like that, like they make it so you don't need to. It'll play like 40 years from now. He goes to like open his, like, when he's long retired and he goes to open his Stanley Cup box and instantly he's got like the highlights and everything. Like that'd be so fire if it does like.
Well, what kind of battery is gonna last 40 years?
Well, it could be LED powered for all we know,
or
even though it would be inside all day. So that wouldn't make much sense.
The bunny. Energizer bunny. Just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, man. Hockey season. So are you playing? You're playing hockey? Are you like just shinny, beer league? What's up?
Yeah, shinny. So it's like, actually, I don't want to give away the times of when I play because I don't want people
the fans might show
no,
up.
Not
they
the,
might
no.
start
I just don't want it to get busy. But I'm a big so I play shinny. I'll say what times. It's like usually Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays at like noon at a rink around me because I like that noon lunchtime sweat.
That's nice.
And then what I do is I bum around as a spare for some of these leagues because I don't like to. I'm not as much as I have to commit to a lot with work in terms of like social aspects and beer league hockey. I don't like to commit to teams and stuff like that. So I'm a big spare guy, kind of selfish because I don't have to pay. A little cheap on that aspect, but I don't know. Just believe it or not, tons of teams need spares, and I'm more than happy to go and be a spare. And it also teaches you to be in new environments with new guys. It's kind of, for some people, it's an intimidating factor to walk into a new room and just be around a bunch of new dudes. What's going on? We're gonna be on the same team, all right? But I kind of like I like it. I don't mind walking into a new room and introducing myself and, hey, how you doing? All right, let's go. We're playing. How are you?
Well, you're probably the best player most of the rooms you walk in.
Not
to pump your tires, but I mean, I can't imagine any of them like got shots at the queue and stuff.
No, I wouldn't say that. There's a lot. I play with a lot. There's a lot of good players around here that went and played college, that came back here, started families, have great jobs, and now they play here. It's that's the thing about beer league. It's all different ages. So yeah, maybe for my age group, yeah, sure, maybe I'm one of the better players, but you're playing with some guys who are 35. You're playing with some guys who are 24, who are really good or just fresh out of playing hockey. So there's in Nova Scotia, there's a great mix, a great group of guys who are still really good. That BMO league, I didn't play in it much last year, but the games I did play, there's some really good players. Really good players.
Oh yeah.
Not like the best hockey shape players, but like hockey IQ's there, stick handling is there, cardio maybe not, but if you have 2 out of the 3, the IQ and the stick handling, you'll get by.
My stick handling is terrible, but my hockey IQ's just gone up from watching so much hockey over the years and now commentating it. Like that's the best. That's the thing I'm good at. And I did like a lot of running this summer, so my stamina is okay. But yesterday when I was playing that first game of the year, man, I felt like I had stone hands.
Oh yeah.
Like when I was trying to deke, like I tried to deke through some guys, like cutting down the left side a few times, or cutting through the middle. I was just getting knocked off, and by the end, I was like, all right, screw this. Like I would just cut to the outside, use the strides just to try to get an angle on the defense, trying to play the body, and I finally I got a nice 5-hole to tie up the game, so I was pumped about that. But I was like, it was like 2.5 periods of me just trying to deke, and you're just like, it just wasn't happening. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna start pushing to the outside and looking to squeeze it by. I don't know.
I'm in the market for new skates. I went to Sport Check the other day and tried on like 4 pairs. Didn't buy any. I felt terrible.
How much are they?
The ones I'm looking at are like $500 from Sport Check. It's like the way I look at it, I just need a stiff boot. I can't have a boot that's really flimsy. I need a stiff, good ankle support boot. And Sport Check and Bears Lake had some. I saw some in Cleves as well. Cleves has better options for Bauer, and I only wear Bauer. I don't like the CCM. I like Tux.
Sponsored athlete.
Oh, I never thought of that. Can you imagine just getting free gear? But there's one pair at Sport Check that I like for $500, and they didn't have this pair at Cleves. But like I said, Cleves has a way better option for Bauer skates. So it's like if I want to spend like an extra $100, there's a pair of Cleves that I like that were like $650, and they were just like a little bit better. Or I just go to Sport Check, get the $500. It's still a nice skate, stiff boot. I wear them. I like them. So, excuse me, I'm just kind of in. I got to make it because my blades right now, my skates right now, I've had since second year junior, and I've worn those skates like on the pond, like the toe is falling off. Like it's just the time to come on, Justin. You got to put some money down towards them because you think about it. If I buy a pair of skates now, I'll have them for the next 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
That might be the last pair you ever buy.
Yeah, maybe. Depends. Yeah.
Maybe, like, depending on how much you play and, like, how much your feet aren't going to grow that much more.
Well, dude, I'm not trying to die at 40. Like, I'm trying to knock on wood here. But, yeah, like, in my lifetime, let's say I put, let's say I live to, like, 80 and I'm playing till, like, 70. I'll probably buy a pair every 10 years. So that's 40, 50, 60, 70. So that's like 4 more pairs of skates in my life. And the way I see it, you got to be comfy in the pair of skates that you're playing with. You don't want to be out there miserable playing in a pair of skates that you're not happy with. Because if you're only out there every now and then, you want to be good.
That's my biggest problem right now is the skates, man. Yeah. I think mine are a little too small. I've had them for a while and they're tight on the foot, man. And my legs felt great, stamina felt great. I was good, but man, my feet, like that first bit,
and your hands, I find.
Like the aches, like the feet aches you get. Like I had to loosen them. I just have to like loosen them or something. Like I can usually play with a loose skate, but I was just like, man, like this is brutal. But
you want to hear a trick? I actually got this from Crosby. He didn't tell me it, but I noticed on his skates. And this is, if he ever comes on, this is one question I want to ask him. So if you go to a picture, you might have noticed this, but if you go to a picture of Crosby's skates, he skips his second loop and just goes to the top. So he does all of his skates. So he goes to the third one, skips the second, and just goes right to the top and crosses them. I've been doing it since Bantam, and it gives you a lot more it gives you a lot more leeway on your ankle, but tight at the top. So I find that really helps with, just everything. It feels tight and loose at the same time, if that makes sense. And if you have a stiff boot, which I like, it kind of just all comes together and it just feels like almost like a really comfortable sock. If you can just give because I have really freaky ankles, are huge. And
ankles?
No, like I just have big like calves, and if you have a big calf, it kind of just goes down to your ankles, I guess. And it's always kind of just been like a thing I've really. And you know what the Bauer bump is? So if you wear Bauer skates, I had it. It kind of went down, but my whole life I was wearing Bauer skates. I had like my inside ankle just kind of blew up. I don't know, just the way the skates fit. But ever since I skipped that second loop and made my ankle just a little bit more of a wider space within my skate, it kind of slowed down that Bauer bump. And I've just been doing it ever since, and I like it. So if you're having issues with your skate, how much time are we at?
45 minutes, including the intro.
If you ever have any issue, just skip that loop. It helps.
Well, if it's good enough for Sid, it's good enough for me. I'll try it out.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Sid's tip might have just saved me a couple $100 here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're trying to get a new pair of skates?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna play the whole season like having my feet ache the first half of the game, but it might just be because it was the first time out. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude! The first time out, you're not even human. You're just you're bored out there moving. Yeah. Same with hands. I find my not even like dangle hands, just like the holding the stick. My hands are always achy after the first one. I remember I went to a shooting camp with I went to a shooting camp like 3 years ago, but I didn't play hockey for like 7 months before that, and I just shot probably 200 pucks in a round of an hour. Blisters everywhere. Oh. But if you play hockey every day for 6 months and you shoot 200 pucks, your hands are fine. But I just remember after this one thing, blisters. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So what do we got? Should we cover it? Well, what else we got to cover?
Well, everything related to the company is pretty much covered.
Cover the Jays.
Got lots of stuff coming up, right?
Hockey season's back.
Yeah, like If you want streaming, email us. We'll try to make it work.
Yeah. Hockey's back. Should we touch on the World Juniors? Hockey Canada.
Seems like all those people resigned yesterday.
Yeah.
Majority of the board. Nova Scotia is not quite sure.
I was talking to a couple people up in New Brunswick, some higher up, some friends of some friends who have a decision whether or not the World Juniors are going to come here or not, and I'm hearing 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But with this resignation of these people within Hockey Canada stepping down, it could help the situation with the World Juniors still being on track. So I guess we'll see. And that's another thing I feel about the World Juniors is, the plan was to do street interviews. Basically, the plan was to celebrate.
Yeah.
Hockey Canada.
Yeah.
The plan was to Hockey Canada World Juniors is here. Let's go. Let's party. Let's go. And now I'm just like, okay, well, fuck. Can I do that?
Yeah.
It's
hard to say right now.
I hate this, but like public perspective is so powerful because everyone has an opinion. And you're just like, oh, geez. If it was up to me, I'd be out there doing street interviews. I'd be like, go Canada, go. Go Canada, go. Go Canada, go. And now you just
We'll have to see, man. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
We'll have to talk to our PR department and our human resources department, get them to put a PowerPoint together.
Yeah.
And get back to us, and then we can make an educated decision on the whole week. Or I guess it's 2 weeks, the World Juniors. Almost a month.
I try not to worry about things I can't, control. I'm sure whatever happens, I can see both sides of it, It is a international event, so it's not necessarily Hockey Canada per se, but they obviously would organize it if it was here.
Yeah, but
they've lost a lot of sponsorships, and, they've done some things that aren't right. But we love hockey, and we love Canada, and, there's a new crop of players who wanted to come to Halifax and play, and Moncton and play and show up, and we'll just have to see what happens, man. I can see both sides in both ways, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely torn on it for sure, because I'm not going to be happy also if I spend X amount of dollars for tickets and I go to the finals, Canada USA, of the World Juniors, and there's only 5,000 people in there. I will not be happy. I'm in there like Steven Glansberg with my face painted in the rafters, and no one's there. Like I don't know. I won't be happy. Tickets were pricey, man.
Didn't you have to buy like Moose season tickets?
And I had to buy Moose season tickets.
So you have Moose season tickets?
I have Moosehead season tickets based on the World Juniors. Yeah, and I went to the home opener the other day, and I talked to everyone in my section, and I was like, hey, so you guys do one of the World Juniors? And everyone's like, yeah, that's why we're here. I was talking to a mom on her phone the whole game. She wasn't even paying attention to the game. She was looking at. No, she's cool. She's my mom's friend. I know her.
But isn't that annoying when you're trying to watch the game and like, the people around you are talking about anything else but hockey?
Well,
drives me nuts.
I was with Sarah though, so Sarah knows her. So they were just talking the whole time, but it's funny. You look around and you see people who just aren't really like interested in the Mooseheads game, and you just know why they're there. Just not that they have to go, but. It was the home opener, so everyone just kind of wants to see their tickets, I guess you could say. But you could just get a feel within the rink of how many people were there for the World Juniors, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense to me. Well, yeah, the Mooseheads definitely benefited clearly then if they're getting all these season ticket holders. For
yeah, for sure. They're making bankroll.
And
for
apparently
sure.
They're supposed to be pretty good this year, the Mooseheads. So, who are we to say anything?
Yeah, the home opener was it was great. It was. We went out to what's that Mexican place there, right on Agricola, right next to like Dirty Nelly's.
Yeah.
Mexicales.
Yeah, Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Next to
Coronaville.
Next to Dirty Nelly's down there, right in front of the convention center.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Callalina.
I don't know. You were there, man.
Yeah, but this is like a known place. Whatever. Yeah, I should know. Anyways, yeah, we went there, spent about $100 on 2 tacos, and then went to the crazy pricey.
No, you $100. No, you
Well, not
can't.
it was like $90 for. Sarah got one taco. I got 3 tacos, and we split a nacho. And then I got a beer, and she got a margarita, and it was like $94 with the tip. But he's in it, I know you go downtown. You gotta those prices are those prices.
Yeah.
I just think about families, man. Like imagine having like 2 kids. Like you could potentially be spending $200 on dinner if you go out. And then you have to go out to the event, and the kids probably want popcorn, nachos, and you're probably going to get a beer. You could just potentially be spending like, $300 on a night.
Well, when we stopped at Tim's the other day on the way to Moncton, I don't know if you heard it, but there was like a family in the Tim's while we were waiting for our stuff, and the mom's like, "All right, what donut do you want?" And the kid like for whatever was like, "It's okay. Like I don't want a donut. I don't like them." And then the dad behind goes, "Oh, you don't like donuts? All right, I'll remember that for next time." And then the kid's like, "Well, no, I just didn't want one right now." You know what I mean? He was getting caught. He was like, "No, I still like donuts. Just don't want them right now." The dad was like looking for any opportunity to be like, "I don't need to buy you this next time." Like they just go into Tim's.
Trying to save some money.
Yeah, they go into Tim's and they like, and you get like a group of 5. They get 3 kids in there plus you and your wife.
It's pricey.
Oh, yeah.
Learn the skill of cooking, because you can stay in. Like I'm not even joking. I've been practicing over the past 4 or 5 years. Ever since I moved out of my parents' house, I guess I've been practicing the skill of cooking. It saves you some money and it's fun.
Trial by fire. You have no other options.
Basically,
if you want to eat, you gotta learn.
Pressure is a funny thing. If you're pressured to save money and learn how to cook, you're just gonna cook anyway. So you might as well make the food that you're putting into your body good. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I agree.
See, I am right. I'm right. I am right. But no, well, man, yeah, it was expensive, but you got to save up for Christmas, and things are coming, and the World Juniors are going to be here, and we're going to have a great time, and everyone's going to be safe. Everyone's going to be happy. The C word, it's not even in the vocabulary anymore, the lovid. And I think we're going to be fine, Jeff. We're going to be fine. We're going to keep pushing forward. The Jays hopefully turn things around. The Leafs are the Leafs, and Edmonton is, what'd you say? You said they're going on a historic run?
I'd say they're going on the best run since I've been a fan.
Okay, well that's maybe a bit of a
years.
stretch, but whatever you think makes you happy. We're gonna play hockey as much as we can. We're gonna compare ourselves to the NHLers. Feel bad about ourselves. We might get a pair of new skates. Hopefully we can cheer on Canada, and all that's going on within the world of hockey takes a little backseat when December rolls around, and we keep moving forward, and we're gonna have a great time. Does that sound good to you?
All right. See you there.
All right, let's do it. How much time are we at right now?
We're 55 minutes.
Okay, well let's say goodbye to everyone listening. Once again, everyone, thank you very much for tuning into the High Button Podcast. We appreciate you. Big shout out to the sponsor, ProLineStadium.com. Get in there, get your picks in, have some fun. Football season is here, hockey is here, baseball playoffs are here. If you ask me, this is the best time of year to have some fun, spend a little cash, and sit down and watch a game. So get out there, have fun, work hard. We hope to see everyone around the rinks. And I'm Justin Belanger. That's Jeff Warburton. Enjoy your week. See you later.